Hey, what's up, friends? It's Friday, December 2nd, and welcome back to my channel. Got some new subscribers, just 7 little miracles away from 1,000, which would be quite a feat for a realist channel. Have some great subscribers here. This isn't a cult. I'm just bearing witness to the fall of civilization, I guess you could say. We are on an exponential track of warming that appears irreversible and exponential. So we can expect climate calamities to surmount our ability to manage them by the end of this decade. And I know I can be a little bit risque and aggressive maybe at times, but it's more focused on ecology and just how unfair the circumstance is that we've been framed in this industrial civilization with no choice, no votes. The squad certainly didn't back the new railroad strike. So, I'm enlightened, you could say. I started the week off, even this week, volunteering at my local food bank, and by the end of it, I was being, chewed out by a lonely old doomer in a cabin, which is cool. I consider that a success. I know everybody's watching everybody else's content because so few are willing to step up and speak about such subject matter that's so, contrary to the popular narrative. And yeah, what can I say? I'm grateful. I chose this. It's like choosing to have a child. Like you choose to create content about reality. What reality? Let's start off with Professor Elliot Jacobson and his Twitter. Here, all that heat anomaly in the Arctic is finally taking a toll. I'm just doing this directly from my computer, guys. I don't feel like messing with my phone. Sea ice extent now ranks 5th lowest for this date. The record low set sea extent was November 3rd, set in El Nino year of 2016. And we're in a La Nina, so when an El Nino kicks in, we'll dip even further. We're all waiting on that one. But is your brain working? Are we sure we're comprehending this? Research studied the effects of a 20-minute walk on cognitive performance on a group of children. And as you can see, 20 minutes sitting quietly, not as much brain activity as walking 20 minutes. And reading comprehension performance was significantly better after exercising. Spelling and arithmetic performing were better, though the results were not statistically significant. Researchers concluded single acute bouts of moderate intense aerobic exercise walking may improve the cognitive control of attention and further supports the use of moderate acute exercise as a contributing factor for increasing attention and academic performance. Pretty cool. Kind of expected. Lots of us are living sedentary, sit-down lives, so on and so forth. And I can also pause here and say that, yes, I've been working my tail off since 16. I haven't lived with my parents since I was 18. I was going to say 17 because I was planning it when I was 17. I lived briefly when I was 6 months or so, when I was 24, 25, just to get back on my feet. But yeah, it's been one hell of a gnarly ride all the way throughout. Let's read the climate news today. UK remains on track for its warmest year since records began after November became the 11th month in a row of above average temperatures. Never since 1881 has a period from January to November in Germany been so warm as 2022. France records hottest year on record, crop production crippled. Italy death toll from a landslide reaches 11. There's a few more here from Somalia's, drought, 130,000 people in camps in central Somalia. Just awful. Just awful. I'm gonna do an art cover income inequality here in a moment. But we'll see, put this into perspective. Most of the world stations with the longest streak of temperatures above average are in Indonesia. Unusual triple dip weather may persist. La Nina may persist into March. UN says Japan had its warmest autumn, since records began in 1898. On and on and on. Storms in Alabama, landslides, and all that heat anomaly in the Arctic is finally taking its toll with record low sea ice extent, which I just covered. Global wages have fallen in real terms this year since the first time records began. UN's agency report that it's 0.9% lower. UN warns of social unrest after striking drop in global wages. More Americans tapping buy now, pay later for holiday gifts. How stressed the economy is, Harvard researcher says. It's Affirm and Afterpay have jumped 85% compared with the week before. UK consumers face a bleak winter. Food inflation remains high. Yeah, the economic news is intimately twined with the environmental news, which is that to say it is going down the trash. Biggest emitters by sectors. Thought this was interesting from Visual Capitalist, just so everyone knows. Electricity and heat, major contributors. Transport, you guessed it, agriculture, so on and so forth. Most of my subscribers are very privy to this information, but just for the record. Study shows that Arctic cyclone on record led to surprising loss of sea ice. Also covered this briefly, I think the other day, that there was a cyclone observed poleward 70 degrees latitude struck in January 2022. Anyways, new research says that loss of sea ice in 6 days was the biggest change we could find in historical observations since 1979. The area of ice loss was 30% greater than the previous record. No wonder that guy from The Office changed his name to Sea Ice Loss something. And last but not least, a dollar just doesn't go as far as it ever did. Charted income distributions in 16 different countries, also from Visual Capitalists. And we can see here, roughly 80% of the global population lived in what we now consider extreme poverty. So just for comparison, and this is 16 different countries, adults making an income greater than $124,000 make it into the 99th percentile, meaning they earn more than 99% of the worldwide population. However, on the flip side, adults in Ethiopia only need to make $24,000 to fall into the country's 99th percentile. And if you make $30,000, like, you are rich, much richer than almost everyone in India. So making something like, 20-something thousand, you're in the 80th percentile. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. I know there's many different flavors of these charts, but every time you see them, it's like, man, we make the most money, we pollute the most. America is just awful. We're awful. Our culture is in dismay. There's no trust in our society. By now, everything I've ever known, almost everything I've ever known, has been degraded, lost, let me down, disappointed, failed, died. I'm impervious to bullshit. So someone can call me effer 1,000 times in a row, and that just goes right by me. When you've lost almost everything, like, nothing really bothers you. The point now is to be a witness, bear the truth of how radically skewed and flawed humans are, and to see our way out of this smiling and laughing all the way down. Hope you guys have a chill weekend, and I'll talk to you soon. See you later.